I graduated from Iona with my undergrad degree in finance. I was actually going to go straight through and get my MBA, but I decided to start working first. So now I'm doing the online MBA program. I never did an online class before in my undergrad. So it's definitely been a little different, but so far so good. I would say you should have some type of regimented schedule, kind of set some time aside. Like I know for me, I'll get out of work at 5:30, and I'll come home and I don't want to sit down and do homework or do any assignments, but I kind of set aside time for myself and say, okay, on Tuesday night, I'm going to sit down and at least listen to the lecture. And then, maybe I'll go back in the next day and do the assignments. So you kind of just have to set a schedule for yourself, since you don't really have a set schedule now that you're moving your classes online. I kind of try to set myself up like in my dining room where I am right now and sit up in a chair and not be kind of like lounging in the living room, to kind of make myself a little more motivated, because it's easy to be, sitting in front of a TV and get distracted. If you're in kind of a setting that seems like a classroom, a desk, a table, kind of feel more like, okay, I'm going to sit down and do what I have to do. I think so, yes. Every professor is different. I've had some professors who don't do as much interaction on Zoom, but actually the two classes I'm enrolled in now, there is a lot of live sessions, opportunities to have virtual office hours, which is awesome. And it's kind of just up to you if you want to use that. So if you have some questions and you want to attend office hours, that's awesome. I think it's different, but it doesn't take too much time to adjust. Coming from me where I took only in-person classes for my undergrad, going into this different type of format, I don't think it was too hard to adjust because you kind of just learn that, okay, this is different and you're going to have to try to change the way you do things a little bit. Like I said, kind of like making yourself a little schedule. So it just takes a little time to get used to, but once you get used to it and you get in the swing of things, I like it. I enjoy it. I kind of like the fact of not having to say, okay, you have to be here at 11 o'clock and we're going to sit and have a class for an hour and a half and you have to be, totally engaged during that time. I like that, I go to work all day and then I come home and if I'm feeling good, I'm feeling like, all right, I could keep going. I'll sit down and listen to a lecture, do an assignment, study a little bit. I like having my own time to, decide when I want to work or not, which is really nice, because that's what you do when you're in the workplace. When I graduated Iona, I felt like I was ready to go out and work, and now I have a full-time job. And your boss doesn't tell you, you have to sit down with me and have this ready at 11 o'clock and we're going to sit together and do it. They just tell you a deadline and you have to get it to them. So it's kind of like preparing you for what you're going to do when you're in the workplace. You have to get it done, and your boss isn't going to sit on top of you and say, right now, but they're going to expect it when the deadline comes. I do think, I know school is sometimes harder for other people and they really appreciate having the person in front of them. But I do think anyone can do it because that's the beauty of this Zoom. You can hop on with your professor and say, I think I do need a little more, interaction. I can't just do it with the syllabus and the schedule like right in front of me. I want to talk to you. And that's so nice about the times that we're in now, that you can just sit here and talk like a conversation, and it's kind of like you're in front of each other anyway. So I think anyone can do it. It's true with everything, yeah, whether you're in person or online, because I could sit here and just do the bare minimum and it's going to show when I get my grade at the end of the semester, and maybe I didn't put in enough effort. It's going to show there. I think sometimes, like if you have a question about something, you can't just, you're not in class, you can't just raise your hand and ask. So it's kind of hard sometimes. You're sitting down doing an assignment and you're stuck. Now you have to wait for a professor to answer you. So that's kind of tough. But what I found with so far all the classes I've taken online, the Iona professors are great about, you shoot them an email, they're pretty much going to get back to you within, the longest was like an hour. So they're pretty available. So they kind of know that, this is a different type of learning experience. So they're going to be available for you just in the same way that you're kind of going to need them. So I think it's a challenge, but working together, you're fine. No, I've always loved Iona. I'm happy to be back doing my online MBA. And I hope everybody has an easy transition to this online situation. I think it'll be okay once you get in the swing of things.